Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and today I'm proud to give you a kind of a review or raw thoughts, however you want to cover it, on a certain game that I've been waiting years for. Now ladies and gentlemen, I own Cyberpunk 2077. I went out of my way to find me a copy here, alright? I got it on the PlayStation 4. So I'm just going to give you guys a full sort of disclosure here real quickly. I do also have a PC version of the game. I have a PC review version of the game that I'm unable to launch for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm sure I'll have it sorted out when we stream the game tonight. But I've been playing a ton of the basic PlayStation 4 version. Now, I updated this to run on the PS5, and full disclosure, it runs at 60 frames per second, never a drop down. If you're playing this on PS5, Xbox Series X, and maybe the Series S, I don't know about that so much, you will get 60 frames per second, and the game is going to look sharp and toasty. Now, I haven't run this on the basic PlayStation 4, but from what I've heard and what I've seen out of other people streaming and covering the game, it runs, all right, and it runs admittedly okay for how dense and populated this game is, but I wanted to give a quick little review and a full final thoughts on this game. Now, as you can tell, Cyberpunk has had a bunch of hype around it. People have set unrealistic expectations. I've seen weird comparisons, and I wanted to sort of bury those as we speak. Now, this is not Grand Theft Auto 6. This has nothing to do with that. If you think this is GTA because it has guns and cars, you're going to be sorely mistaken. Yes, it has an open world. Yes, it has guns. Yes, it has cars. But I walked into Cyberpunk 2077 expecting Deus Ex Plus. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it is Deus Ex Plus. Now, as you know, I'm a huge Deus Ex fan. All right, if you thought I was a Metal Gear fan, I am. But if you think I'm a bigger Deus Ex fan, oh yeah, I'm a bigger Deus Ex fan. I am ready. I want Adam Jensen inside me. I want JC Denton inside me. Hell, I'll even take a little bit of Alex Denton inside me too. I'll have a good time. I'll have a good four-way. You feel me, fam? Now, with Cyberpunk 2077, again, I'll remind you, I walked into this expecting Deus Ex, and that's pretty much it. Now, what does that mean? That means the open world you get is not only one of the, I guess, it's not the largest open world. Like, there are bigger cities for sure. I'm pretty sure Los Santos is... I'm pretty sure LS might be larger in GTA 5, but not vertically. And definitely not in terms of detail and density. Every location you go to in Cyberpunk 2077 feels genuinely unique. When you look straight up below on the skyscrapers, the game looks jaw-dropping. And I'm not even playing with the maximum settings or ray tracing. I'm literally on PS4 Pro settings, brute force to 60 frames through the sheer power of the PS5. That's all I'm doing. It is an impressive game, and this is coming from somebody that is a PC gamer, a high-end PC gamer. I know what high-end visuals look like, and I am ready for it. This is a very pretty, very detail-rich game. Now, as far as the bugs go, I played both versions up until the prologue, and I can confirm to you something weird. When you update the game on PlayStation, currently it is at 1.02, I believe that update level gates you, okay, or progress gates you. They introduce enemies that are unkillable, so I can't get past the prologue. I deleted the game, reinstalled the original 1.0 version, and it is totally playable. Albeit with crashing and bugs for sure. It happens because, let's be real here, the game is very deep, okay? There's going to be bugs, but... anyways, now that all of that's gone, I wanted to really cover a couple key moments, right? Even though I'm not able to show you full gameplay of it, the only gameplay in this video you'll really see is that of Deus Ex, and I'm just doing that to make a good comparison. The leveling system in this game is as fluid as you would have expected. There are six skill pools to dump stats into, right? You've got cool, you've got body, you've got, you've got technician, you've got all these pools to put points into. You can open these pools and find out that they have their individual skill trees. And we're not talking one skill tree, we're talking 2 or 3 sometimes. And they all have their own caveats. So there's a lot of perks to get. Some of those perks build into other perks by increasing certain stats by 20-30%. But you can build your character however you want. Right now, I'm somewhere around level 11, level 12, building my way to an assassin tech kind of class. So yeah, it does have a class system. It's just very up to you. You can build in any way you want, and I feel like there's no wrong way to do it. I did, however, have one bug with the game where I played it on normal, but I think it auto forces you to hard. So make sure you check the settings when you play, because the enemies can get bullet spongy, and it's not the game's fault necessarily. It's because it's just running on the harder difficulties. On normal difficulty, everything was fine. Things were balanced. Everything was okay. Weapons-wise, the game has a large variety again, and they feel pretty okay. Like we're not gonna expect like Rainbow Six Siege or Doom, but as far as the shooting mechanics go, it's pretty solid for the most part. As far as the hacking mechanics go, it is much more, again, in-depth than Deus Ex. It is, you can do a lot more. You can hack people. You can hack everything around you. Everything is running on, like, some sort of network. It's kind of like Watch Dogs, except, like, Watch Dogs can never reach the level of, like, the hacking in this game, or maybe the hacking in other games, too. In very many ways, the environments feel like a Deus Ex environment, and I know that I'm making that comparison a lot. I think the best way that I can put this is when you play games like Human Revolution, or Mankind Divided in the Deus Ex franchise, or even the original, they come with open districts, okay? Basically, you can explore New York, Prague, Detroit, China, but these are like hub worlds, right? Like, you can just go to, like, you know, a couple streets at most. In Cyberpunk 2077, that level of detail and density in the Deus Ex games have been carried from a two-street system all the way to an entire city. And that's what really sets it apart. Not only is the city immersive, not only does it have a million vendors for you to explore, different kinds of vendors, a million gangs, different police response times, because there is actually a full police wanted system as well. But it also has the level of density and the level of choice that it offers players to tackle any opportunity the way that they want. You can go into this game's guns blazing if you want, and that's a totally viable way of playing. Just like you can go into Cyberpunk 2077 with nothing but a hacker's mentality, nothing but a non-lethal mentality. It's really up to you. In the beginning of the game, it may not seem as much, and that's because you have, like, no skills or perks, and the game is pretty much in its introductory phase. But once the city opens up, once you really get into the meat of the storyline, you'll realize that, yes, it does give you a lot of choice. Yes, the side quests themselves play a lot into the actual main storyline, and they do a lot to really flesh Night City and the world around you. The game is very, very deep in its lore. Obviously so. It's based off of a very lore-intensive franchise. But not only that, it plays really well into the actual side quests, the everything, okay? Every single thing. Not just a side quest. We're talking about all the other points on the map that at first look like you're playing a Ubisoft game, but in reality, it all just intermingles really well. I think that's the best way to put it. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to make a quick sort of review. I wanted to really just give you thoughts. I know that not showing you gameplay of the game sucks, and a lot of that has to do with review embargoes and like situations regarding this game, but we will be streaming it tonight. I really wanted to just sort of bring up my final thoughts, at least so far, into several hours into this game. And I have to say that my expectations walking into Cyberpunk 2077 was it just being as good as Deus Ex Human Revolution, which is one of my favorite games of not just last two generations, but of all time. This game takes the entire Deus Ex franchise that I love, and it's not only like a good callback to it, but it's a good evolution of that franchise into what is modern day open world design. This is without a doubt a decent game. Now, there are some other couple issues that I wanted to call out. I know that there's been a lot of opinions on the game's the game city and how dense and how many NPCs you see, and I just wanted to say, even on unpatched versions, the density and the environments of the game are totally dependent on a bunch of factors, right? Like, if you go into like a cheaper, like, sort of out there district, there's not going to be a lot of cars, not going to be a lot of NPCs, but the moment you step into like city centers and like deep into Night City, it is filled with NPCs, it is filled with vehicles. This game has a very lively, very energetic city. But beyond all of that, just visuals alone, the game has the gameplay to actually back it up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stress this once more. This will be a buggy mess. If you followed me on Twitter the last day or two, I have been kind of a fucking negative Nancy. Understandably so, all right? Because the game has had launch day bugs for me. It has crashed more than any PS4, PS5 game so far. But it's okay. The game does have a pretty generous autosave, so I wasn't really like losing any progress. The game will have some game-breaking bugs in that like patch period between launch and when the discs were printed, I guess. Like, patch 1.02 had like 3 game-breaking bugs for me, but I'm pretty sure CD Projekt Red put those bugs in there intentionally. Again, this is purely my theory to prevent people who have the game early from like leaking the entire game storyline. Understandable. Original 1.0 version of the game actually plays just fine. You do have to deal with the 30 frames per second. You do have to deal with some crashes. You do have to deal with the fact that characters glitch out here and there, but again, full reminder, this is a very large and very detailed, dense world. That much should be just understood. But ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I have to say about Cyberpunk 2077. It meets my expectations above and beyond. I am excited to get back into it, and I'm also excited to launch this up on my PC, full max settings, full ray tracing tonight with all of you guys on live stream. So ladies and gentlemen, yeah, that was Cyberpunk 2077. Take of this as a review, if you will. This is just my raw, unfiltered thoughts on the game. I think it's great. I think my expectations, the expectations I set, have been matched. It's not going to be the end-all be-all. It certainly isn't Grand Theft Auto. If you're a fan of Deus Ex, you're going to fucking love Cyberpunk 2077. This is me, Mutahar, and I am out.